Now it's making a comeback. We talked about that a little bit earlier, but why is it like the wild, wild west?
I think it's the wild, wild west because one, it's not really regulated, and so that's the thing. Like if you go to like there's a national convention every year in well, this year it was in Chicago, but you have 16-year-old kids walking around with sealed briefcases, pretty much handcuffed to their wrists, and they have $1 million, $500,000 Pat Mahomes rookie cards in those boxes, and so it's just. There's just so many things where it's not regulated. You literally could go into Target and get a pack that has a $50,000 card in there. Yeah. And there's just, it's crazy, man. So many cash deals happening on the side. It's fun.
Yeah, so you've gone to a few of those conferences too, so like you meet some pretty intense people.
Oh, there's hedge funds, there's venture capital firms that are buying up. Like Nat Turner just bought the grading company PSA. I think it's rumored to be around $1 billion is what they paid for that. There's Steve Aoki's going hard. Gary Vee's been talking about this for 2 years now and pumping up the industry. And there's a lot of hype behind it, but also there's the basic economics behind it are so cool to get involved with and understand, like supply and demand, and to be able to connect it to obviously our alternate investments and the gambling side of it. There's just so many cool facets to it.
And then grading, we got to go over that too, because that's something you have different grading companies. You got Sports Card Guarantee Corporation, Professional Sports Authenticator, PSA. You were talking about.
PSA's the pinnacle, so they're the top dog. A PSA 10 is the pinnacle. Kind of the pinnacle. It is the pinnacle, but Beckett.
So is it 1 to 10?
They grade on a 1 to 10 system. They don't do stair test they don't do 9.5s. Beckett's pretty much the second biggest right now. Yeah. BGS, they give 9.5s on a lot of their cards. But grading's a 4-tier system. So they look at the edges of the card, they look at the corners, they look at the surface, and then they look at the centering. Yeah. And so basically they do a sum of those 4 indicators to grade a card 1 through 10. And so Beckett does something that PSA doesn't do. They actually give a perfect 10 black label card, and those do like 3 times what a PSA 10 does. But those are what we call unicorns. They're super rare. Yeah. Like black label cards are crazy.
There's almost, I'm sure, some of those sharks that are trying to maybe work with these companies to get a grading up a little bit from a 9.5 to a 10.
You get it, a half step or a full step. You're talking about, well, just take the Michael Jordan. I think they were up to around $1 million for a PSA 10, and then every step down, it's a huge bell curve. Yeah. And so basically an 8 can go, 200,000 down to, a 6 is only 12 grand. So it's huge. The curve is so steep at the top, getting up to the 10.
This is Charlie Kirk, founder and CEO of Turning Point USA. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Turning Point USA.